Welcome to Subtopia. Beautiful, rich, little country, full of lakes and rivers, quaint little villages and farms, scattered across rolling countryside with amazing mountain views and the odd ancient castle filled with history. But not every Subtopian lives a life of sunshine and rainbows in the countryside. The vast majority of the population live in the country's two largest cities. Sub-City, the capital, based in the south, is the financial heart of Subtopia. This former industrial powerhouse is now home to the country's rich and famous. And then there's Boudtropolis in the north, a city steeped in culture, cosmopolitan city where people from all walks of life are welcome to live. Now in Subtopia, there is a huge north and south divide. Some Subtopians say they are like two different countries, but there is one thing that unites this small nation: football. So to bring its people together, the Subtopian government formed the SFA with the aim of conquering world football at club and national level. And using its vast wealth, the SFA created 8 new teams. 4 were to be based in Sub-City and another 4 were to be based in the north in Boudtropolis. These newly formed teams would compete for the Subscriber League Championship and the Subscriber Cup. And each team would have not only the world's best managers, but the world's best young players. You. Can you help lead your team to glory? Can you become a legend? Hello, I'm Bood and welcome to episode 1 of Bood's Subscriber League. As always, thanks for joining me, it's massively appreciated. Make sure you do all the good stuff. Hit the thumbs up, comment, especially if you're taking part. Become a patron. You'll find a link to that down below in the description, along with a few different save files, a few different versions of this little universe that you can try out for yourself. But thank you, honestly, for watching, especially if you've missed out or you've decided not to take part in it. I really do appreciate that. Like I said in the introduction video, I'm not doing this for views or subs or growth of my channel. It's just a little thank you series to as many of you as possible, where as many of you can take part as possible. And that's it, mainly. We'll do a couple of episodes. I've enjoyed putting it together. It's a bit of a challenge, but I really enjoy doing stuff like this. So much so, I've kept a few things off this that I'll save for FM24, and I'm going to do it, well, when the game comes out, really. Maybe add 4 more teams so I can get more of you involved. But for now, this is it, and I'm going to explain it. We're going to look through the first season and see what happens. But we're going to start here on the Subtopia national teams page. Now, I've destroyed a country and completely rebuilt it in the image of Subtopia. It's got its own flag, all its own rules, its own cities, and so on. Now, it's apparently the best team in the world because I've made it that. They've got a squad of players that I've made, and a manager, the legendary Gary Horsepower. Now, this could be a little bit of side fun for you if you want to do something different. You could take over the national team because they won't be in the World Cup. Of course, we're going to have the Winter World Cup at the back end of 2022. But they will be trying to qualify for the Euros. So could you take Subtopia to its first ever actual championships? That would be quite cool. Now, this country has a south region and a north region, 2 main cities, that's it, with 4 teams in each city, made up mainly of you guys, hopefully, that are watching. Now, I will say quickly, we're not going to look at your players individually, not really, maybe the odd one, because it would take forever. There's 22 players in each squad. Imagine how long that would take. So just get the save file. You can have a look at the start of the season at your player. You can download the end of the season as well, and have a look how well they did, and you might spot yourself on a few lists. There's going to be the awards at the end of the season and all that good stuff. We've got teams in Europe, and I will mention that quickly. I tried to get everyone into Europe first season. I kind of messed it up. I couldn't rectify it without starting the whole database again, and I'm not doing that. So only 7 teams will be in some form of Europe in the first season. 1 team's not, and that's the Vikings. I don't know why. So they might have an advantage this first year. But in all the test simulations I've done, in the second season, everyone ends up in some form of Europe, so it might be a bit different next season. But for now, it's the first season, and we need to get looking into it, don't we? Starting with the Bood Subscriber League. Now, the first thing I'm going to say with this league is, do not think of it as a standard league. It's maybe the NFL fan within me. I played a league recently on something where it was like this, and I quite like it. So this isn't a league about getting first place. You could top that league at the end of the games by 30 points, right? Say. That doesn't matter. Your aim, if you want to play this for yourself, is just getting that top 4. It's all about reaching the playoffs, not where you finish. Do you know what I mean? You could sneak into 4th, and in some of my tests, I've seen a team sneak into 4th and win it. It's mental. But this is going to be, right, honestly, it is a ballers league. Every single player has a 175 current ability, 190 max ability. Everyone's 21 years old. Everyone's got a position with a few variations so they can help out the squad if needs be. It's a tough league. I think if you played this, it is a challenge. It's going to be fine margins, managerial decisions, luck with injuries, all that crazy stuff. Because in one other simulation, the team that finished bottom of this league got to the Champions League final. That's how hard I think this little league could be. Anyone can beat anyone. It's going to be tough. So let's quickly look at the rules. Now, even though Base Subtopia is a UK island nation, because that's where I'm from, they are part of the European Union. There's no mad rules. You should be able to, if you play it without any of the restrictions, be able to bring whoever you want in. That'd be quite cool. Like I said, there's 8 teams. They play each other 4 times. So what is it? 28 games. Top teams go in the Champions League. Normal league sorting rules and all that stuff. The transfer windows are January to February. A couple of months over the summer. The league itself, though, starts in September. Because there's not as many games, I've tried to stretch it out. There's a bit of a winter break, which on the FM24 version, I'm going to stick a Super Cup in that. Not done that this year. And then once the season's finished, the Booed Subscriber Cup starts. Straight cup competition. 8 teams straight into the quarterfinals. Bam, bam, bam. I think there's a 3rd place playoff in this as well. Give you that extra game if you want it. Money's decent as well. So there's good TV money. I think you get about 70 million in the league. You get little bits of money throughout the cup. You get good prize money as well in the league, starting at 50 million, I think, and it drops down 5 million depending on where you finish. So, you know, it's pretty standard. I've not got too giddy. All the teams aren't super rich. They have the ability to be if you want to play it properly without any of the bans or anything. But it should be fun and mega challenging, I think. So let's start up north, where I'm from, with my team. Yes, I am the captain of the Vikings. Argentinian centre-half, Budini. Yeah, I want to go to the World Cup with Messi, see what I can do. We'll have a look at that later. So the Pirates, yep, nicknamed the Skull and Bones. Eric Ten Hag, of course, I'm a Man United fan. He's our manager. Martin Burmeister is the vice captain. They play at the Queen's and Revenge Park. I named it that because it's a famous pirate ship. Now, when it comes to rivalries, the northern teams hate each other. They'll buy and sell players. I've not stopped that. And then they hate the southern teams as well, but they hate the local teams a little bit more. A little bit. Everyone's got the same size stadium, the same ticket prices, same season ticket holders to start with. That could change. You never know. Now, looking at the facilities, only on the Pirates for the North, mainly because maybe I was a little bit lazy. But what I've done is I've built a super training complex in Boudtropolis where all the 4 northern teams will train. And I've done the same in the South. So we don't need to look at every club's facilities because they're the same. Now, like I said, we can't go for every single player, but you'll notice everyone's got a future transfer in place. So on this little simulation I'm doing, they've got a transfer in place for 10 years. So no player in your squad can leave if you play this one for 10 years, and then they will be leaving. I'll quickly go through it though. I have released all the squad lists on my community tab on YouTube, but feel free to pause it. But that is the Vikings. And while we're here, I'll just mention it. You might be able to see it near my head. The clubs are under a 5-year transfer ban. Now, this is only this one. You might want to play this version, but like I said, there'll be another version down below where there's no club transfer ban, no player transfers. Players will be able to move freely. And one little tip I will give you is get all over the Subtopian national team because they are the same level of player as you guys who are just a year older. And they all play for championship teams. And I've seen a couple of them get snapped up. You'll see the values are quite high, but there's some quality players there. Next on the northern team list is the Diabolos. The Devils is their nickname, managed by Jose Mourinho and captained by El Grino. John Griffiths is their vice captain, and they play at the Hellfire Pit. Again, a quick look at the squad if you want to pause it and just make sure you're in it. Again, there's a lot of you. I made a list. I try to spell the names how you'd spell them. So if you've misspelled them, I've misspelled them. Maybe I then misspelled them. So I do apologise. if I got something wrong, because there are some funny ass names. Next up we have the Cowboys, and I'm wearing my Cowboys hat. Yeah, the Outlaws is their nickname, managed by Diego Simeone and captained by the legend himself and Cowboys fan. I love this man, is Christian Peter. Caldino is the vice captain, and they play at the Saloon. And again, quick run through the squad. There you go. You'll see there position wise, it looks like you're all locked in, but there'll be a right back. You could be a right back. You might be able to cover at left back, or Joe Bloggs over here might be a right back, but you might be able to cover at centre half and on the wing. So I've tried, there's a good variation, so you're not just stuck with that. Players can help out when needed. Next up, and the last team from the north, based in Budropolis, my favourite city, I don't know why. It's the Vikings, and no matter what, I couldn't get them into Europe, even when I change things around. They just don't want to go in Europe for some reason. But they've got a consolation prize. They've by far got the best kits in the game. Look at those kits, they are amazing. Now I'm going to try and put all the graphics down there for you to download. All the kits, the logos, the competition logos, the new Subtopia flag, all that jazz. But those kits, man. Yeah, so we've got to give a big shout out to El Greeno, Lee Greenshields, aka Greeno, because he's created all the kits for me. Thank you very much. Now their nickname is, apparently, I used Google Translate, is black and gold. Nice little touch, I thought. Carlo Ancelotti is the manager. Captain Kano, Brian Kane himself, is the captain. Rich Holtz is the vice captain, and they play at Valhalla. And again, let's look at the squad list. Maybe you'll spot yourself if you didn't see me release the team sheets on my community tab. But there they are. There are the boys. Can they do it? We're now heading down south, and this is the first team. It's Owls FC, nickname the Owls. Very imaginative on my part. Managed by Eddie Howe. Captained by Dirk Diggler, who used to be a porn star, now he's a football player. Vice captain is Chris Hayes, and they play at the Treetop Arena. Here we are with the Owls squad. Look at that. Love some of these names. Love some of you using your imagination, I'm guessing, on your nationalities. There's quite a few San Marinos, a couple. There should have been more of you. Could have made San Marino great. My point was being, there's that many English players. I mean, England should win everything now, because they've got that much depth with all you lot coming into the game. But you're going to be fighting it out. I think there's something like 6 or 7 English people in each position. So you got to think there's real players as well. You might not be going to World Cups like me with Argentina. Because I should be at centre half. I think there's 3 of us who are Argentinian. Hungary could have a good team. Scotland have got a good team. They've definitely got a great first team 11 with a bit of depth. So Republic of Ireland, I think. So we'll see what happens. And because we're on the first southern team, you can see right down there, the training ground is South Subtopia Training Complex in Budropolis. I might have balls that up, Anna. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, they're both in the same city. There was a lot to do. I'll fix that next year. Got to make a mistake somewhere, haven't you? Eh? Who cares? Anyway, so yeah, that's the Owls. Next up is Inter FC, nicknamed the Black and Yellow. If you're a fan of my channel, you know I love black and yellow kits. Think of the mighty Denton Villa. Some of you have watched that series. I love you for it if you missed it. What a shame. I might bring them back one day. Anyway, they're managed by Luciano Spalletti, the Napoli legend that's just won Serie A in real life. Captained by Limo, who for some reason hasn't got any kind of face, and I don't know why. The editor. Vice captain is Schlinks Lincoln, one of the best names ever. And they play at the Sub-Zero. And here we are with the legendary Inter FC squad. A couple of legendary names in that team. Next up, it's Dynamo FC. The Bomber Crew is their nickname. Man City colours, so I instantly don't like them. I'll be honest with you. Managed by Zinedine Zidane and captained by the legendary Tame Valley right back, Joe Page. Vice captain is Josh Green, and they play at the Dynamite Dome. And here we go for all you Dynamo players. Let's spot your name somewhere. And last but not least, the final team, and the final team from the south is Strikers FC, nicknamed the Orange Army, and managed by Mikel Arteta. Bobby Barks, legendary Bobby Barks, very, very famous Last of Us YouTuber. Look for his channel, it's brilliant. Vice captain is Mitchell Holton, and they play at the Stade de Striker, and that's how you have to pronounce it. And this is the squad, the final squad. Man, this is going to be fun. This is going to be proper fun. I can't go through every single player, but we're going to go through a couple very quickly, just so you can see the average ability of everyone. This is me, captain of the Pirates. El Greeno, the legendary Colombian defensive midfielder. Christian Peter, the Swiss attacking midfielder, better known to his friends as CP. Captain Kano, the man himself, the Scottish hero. Yep, there we go. Dirk Diggler, captain of the Owls. Good midfielder, him in here. Wouldn't mind him in any team. Limo, the legendary mental health pioneer. Director of Evolving Mindset. You've probably seen the ad boards in the game. You probably heard me talk about them. They were the sponsor of Tame Valley. Well, here he is, Spanish centre-half. Next up, it's Joe Page. Never really forgiven me for stripping him of the captaincy at Tame Valley and giving it to Kano. But he's not a bad little player, is he? Eh? What a right back. He's turned out better than me. Last on the captain's list, it's Bobby Barks. Again, centre-half from Hungary. Now, Hungary on this game definitely got a good striker, defender, and a goalkeeper and all that for a fact. And quickly, we're looking at the key players according to the game, starting back at the Pirates with Sir Matt Dalton. What a ledge. The Diabolos key player is Leslie Sheargold, a left back. The Cowboys key player is Caldino, their vice captain. He's a left back as well. The Vikings key player is their central midfielder, What Tarnation. The Owls key player is their centre half. A lot of defenders as key players, isn't there? He's also the vice captain of the Owls, Chris Hayes. Key player for Inter is Ross Wilson, defensive midfielder and Scottish. Honestly, Scotland have got a good team. Key player for Dynamo is Joe Page, but we've already looked at the captain, so I went to the vice captain, an elite striker at 21 years old, Hungarian, Josh Green. And the final key player, and this one's for the strikers, another defender. Wow. It's Samuel B. Goodman. So, like I've said, or like hopefully you know, everyone's got the same current ability, and there's no difference. Everyone's got the same potential ability. The only difference is the captains were given 20 for leadership, and that's it. I'll let the computer flesh it all out. So some players might be better than others. Now, I was going to originally lock in the managers, and then I changed my mind. I thought, you know what? No, let them get sacked. Let someone else come in, because there should be a top-end manager. They might have a different formation, so maybe your guy won't play in for, say, Carlo Ancelotti. He could get sacked. Someone comes in, Luis Enrique, for example, plays a different way, likes your player. It might add a bit of variety to it, because you can lock managers in if you want. But look, the Vikings are the favourites. Is that because they're not in Europe? They're going to have less games. They're just concentrating on domestic football. Now, everyone's a freaking same rep and everything, but for some reason, we've still got odds that have got a bit of variety to them, especially for Inter, who are 1,000 to 1. That makes no sense to me. The game's struggling with that, I think. But there we go. Quickly look at some of the best teams. Feel free to pause it. I'm not going to stay on each one for too long. But there we go. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like I said, there's lots of players that are the same. Get the save file down below. Have a good look at your player. Get the save file for the end of the season. See how your player did. We'll look at a few stats at the end of the league. At the end of the year, we'll look at the awards and all that good stuff. And I pretty much think that's it. I think we'll just get into it and see who wins what. And here we are now on the 1st of January. Yes, the Vikings are top. Level on points with Dynamo. Cowboys not far behind. The Pirates, come on, the Pirates are in 4th. A few teams struggling, but like I said, on one test, it was the Diabolos who were bottom. We still got to the Champions League final, so this is a tough little league. But once again to Europe, they show the real quality against all the other European teams. But another thing is, I've run quite a few simulations just to test it, and things change. Even the Vikings end up rubbish, even though they're not in Europe, or teams, it's different every time because they're so equal, and I think that's what the challenge is about it. Well. I didn't know who won this. I've just holidayed to January the 1st. I thought I'd save it. I'm not surprised because England have an amazing depth of player to choose from, and this is the team that won it, and a few of you are in it. I know you are. I can see ball bags as a wing back. Oh, there's quite a few, aren't there? Wow. Well done then. If you made the England squad and won the World Cup, fair play to you. So then, there's no monthly awards. I couldn't be honest with that. It's just going to be end of season awards. So we've got a few more save points. Let's jump into it and see how things go. By going all the way to the end of the league, the Vikings have topped it. But like I said, in a few simulations, doesn't matter about getting top. It's just about getting into the playoffs. And the Cowboys, the Diabolos, the Pirates, well done. And the Vikings have made the playoffs. So now it's all about who can get through that and get to the final and win the very first Booed Subscriber League Championship. Well, here's the semi-finals. The finals haven't been played yet. The Vikings beat the Cowboys 2-0 and the Pirates drew 1-1 with Diabolos but then lost on penalties. So this is the Cowboys team that got beat in the semis. Good for you. But the Vikings, they're on a roll and Captain Kano got on that second goal. And then here's the Pirates team and I'm playing defensive midfield. I can cover there. I didn't make myself a full defensive midfielder. I'm more of a centre half. But he's got me playing in defensive midfield. Whatever. I'm not bothered. But we couldn't do it, could we? No, because the Diabolos, captained by El Greeno himself there, who had a shit game. So who wins? Who's going to win the first Booed Subscriber League Championship? Well, it was the Vikings 1-0. So fair play to them. Now, like I said, I've run simulations where teams have had the advantage. Mainly the Vikings. I don't know why. Couldn't get them into Europe. Even when I put them in groups and so on. It's weird. It's like we could only have 7. And it didn't like the Vikings. And they haven't won a thing. But this time it worked out well for them. So fair play to Captain Kano and the boys. I mean, he didn't score the winner. It was What Nation. But yeah, they definitely looked like they deserved it against them, the Vikings team. He did play. He played pretty well, didn't they? So congratulations to the Vikings. And that final, by the way, is played in the National Stadium, the Subtopian Dome, which is definitely based in Sub City. I didn't balls that one up. Beautiful stadium. Roof can close and everything. Fantastic facility. So of course next is the cup competition to play. There's still European stuff going on. We'll check all that out in a bit. I've no idea what happens with that. I've ignored it so I can find out with you. Now the awards are based within the league, but the award takes all its scores and stats from everything domestically. So we'll have a look at the awards ceremony later. So here we are, just a couple of days later, and it's the quarterfinals of the Booed Subscriber Cup. The Owls have drawn Dynamo, Strikers got into, Diabolos are playing the Pirates. We're probably doomed there. The Vikings are playing the Cowboys. What I haven't explained is, with the Cup, to get extra games, the quarterfinals is 2 legs, the semi-finals is 2 legs, and the final is a one-off game at the Subtopian Dome. So the Owls beaten Dynamo over 2 legs, the Strikers beat Inter, the Diabolos beat the Pirates, and the Cowboys have knocked out the Vikings. No domestic double for them. On to the semi-final and Diabolos. Look at them, eh? Beating the Cowboys, and the Strikers beat the Owls. The Strikers may have finished second bottom in the league, but they got themselves to a cup final. Honestly, anything can happen on the day in this crazy ass league. But before we get to the cup final, there was a 3rd place playoff. The Cowboys won that on penalties, beating the Owls. Now this is what I mean. Managerial changes have mixed it up a bit. So the Strikers weren't doing well in the league and they sacked Mikel Arteta and replaced him with Lucien Favre. So he's the new manager who's gotten to the cup final. We also had one other managerial change. Obviously Inter finished bottom of the league, so Luciano Spalletti was sacked and replaced by Ernesto Valverde. So should we watch a little bit of a game? I know it's a cup final, we could have maybe watched the league championship, but this works out better. So it is the Diabolos, captained by El Greeno, versus the Strikers with their new manager, captained by Bobby Barks. Oh, here we go. I had to press a space bar. It's going to be a little bit weird. I've got no control over anything. So Jose Mourinho and the boys trying to win their first trophy, and the Strikers are trying to win theirs. So there you go. There's the team sheets. And here we are. The Orange Army versus the Devils. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone who took part in this. And again, I apologise if you were too late to it. It was a first come first served basis, and talking to friends, I didn't know if I'd get enough of you, and it came thick and fast. Like within the first night of the video coming out, I was nearly full, and then the second day the spots were getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and then I did put a comment on it saying it's closed, but I had to switch the comments off. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking I'll do this again for FM24. When the new game comes out, I might put out the offer, get all your names on the list first, and then wait a good few weeks, maybe even a month or 2, and just pace myself at creating it, because it was pretty hard really to do, just because of time. If we just chilled out and just take my time and do it bit by bit over a longer period, I can add 4 more teams, get a good 80 more people involved hopefully, and see how it goes. But I know it's a bit daft. Some of the names are a bit daft. It is just a bit of fun. It is a thank you. Right, here's O'Brien, edge at box. Anyone going to score? Yes, there we go. The Strikers have took the lead. Matt Duxbury. Now, I'm fully aware not many people will watch this. Probably only the people that are involved. But I do what I do, another one. I'm going to try and get that ready tomorrow, so I can get these out one, bam, bam. And then if you're wanting more, we can maybe do a 3rd season. Maybe we could jump to the last season before the transfer ban's lifted and just see an overall view of everything. I don't know. Anyway, can the Strikers claim their first trophy? Johnny Ballbags, honestly, mate, what a name that is. Some good ones. I mean, if I was you, I'd have been a bit more imaginative, and if you do it again next year, you should think of a country you might play for, guaranteed. I think a group you got together and made San Marino a baller team. That would have been brilliant. But it's fun, it is what it is, isn't it? I did put in all your favourite teams. That probably took me forever. I don't think I'm going to do that because I don't know why I've done it. I don't think I'll do that next year because that's just an added extra you have to do individually. And I can't be asked. I'm going to keep it simple. Even more simple than this is, really. Oh, John Griffiths. Final minutes are ticking. It's been a heartbreaking season for the Diabolos, whatever you want to call them. But fair play to the Strikers. They weren't doing well in the league, made a managerial change and a bounce back, winning the very first subscriber cup. So there we go. The Vikings won the league. These dudes won the cup. There's no Super Cup though. I'm saving that. Something extra. I've been spotted, have I? At the Subtopian Dome. Yes, because I was watching the game. So there's other things happening. So I'm going to jump forward and we'll see how the teams in Europe did. And we'll have a look at the awards and a few stats lists from all the different players. Firstly, we're going to look at the European Championship qualifying. And Subtopia have played 2 so far and looking like they could get there. Can you do it? Again, let me know. Let's jump into the awards for this newly formed Nations League and Cup. And apparently goalkeeper of the season was Louis Benjamin from the Cowboys. Luke Farrell from Dynamo came second. And Ben Davidson from the Vikings came third. Defender of the season, and thank you for having a name I will never be able to pronounce. I'm just going to go for your second name. It's Zendilov from the Cowboys. Ian Harvey from the Pirates came second. And Mason Shaw came third for the Vikings. Midfield of the season, it was Barry Doherty, the Strikers, young Scotsman. Sean White from the Pirates came second, and Ignacio Sendoya from the Cowboys came third. Striker of the season, it's the man himself, Kano from the Vikings. Mickey Welsh from the Owls came second, and Jamie Lee Johnston, the Cowboys legend, came third. Player of the season, Barry Doherty. Mr. Zendilov came second, and Caldino came third. Players player turned out exactly the same. This is voted for by the players. And here we are with the team of the season. Apparently the best team in the league. If you've made it, congratulations. Let me know. I mean, there's a lot there. I think I picked subs as well. So this is the best squad, I'm thinking. There's not much to choose from, but, you know, congratulations. Look at that. I got a Pirates player in there. That Jamie Aubrey. Well done, mate. We're not going to look at every list, but we'll have a quick look. This is the best average rating in the league. Mark Reynolds was at the top. There you go. There's the whole list. On to goals, and Mark Clark didn't win any awards. Scored the same goals as Kano. Must be something to do with all that other stuff that I don't normally look at. But here we go. These are all the goal scorers. I'm going to go on tackles 1. I can't go for them all. It'll take forever. Like I said, get the save file. I'll have this one out there for you at the end of the season. You can have a good ganders at. But yeah, Joe Brody's at the top. Quick scroll down for you. And on goalkeepers, I've gone for save percentage. Don't know why. There you go. Dylan Anderson at the top. Mr. Louis Benjamin, didn't he win goalkeeper of the season? So then let's look at the European competitions, and quite a lot of the teams got deep into this, to be fair. And the Strikers, the cup winners, got to the final of the Europa Conference League, drawing 2-2 with Freiburg and then getting beat on penalties. That's disappointing, I'll be honest with you. Onto the Europa League, and none of our teams made the final. No, Manchester United have beaten Chelsea 1-0. Quick look at the semis. Oh, the Cowboys, and that's Inter. That's our Inter. So 2 teams got to the semis and then got beat by Premier League teams. Well, Joey Page will love this. And Zidane is the manager of the Dynamo. He loves winning the Champions League, doesn't he? Beating PSG in the Champions League. So Dynamo have won the big one in Europe. So let me know down below if you played in and won a Champions League final. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It'd be cool to see if anyone could ever win the treble. Because these teams are now, everyone's 21. You're going to grow. They've got a few years to improve. Who's going to improve above other players? Everyone locked in. It's going to be a battle again next season. So here we are. It's the end. The new season hasn't started, but the odds have changed and jumped all over the place. Inter is still the worst team for some random reason. But look at the Strikers. Check them out. And Dynamo, obviously, Champions League winners. So that is pretty much it. I'm just running through it. Like I said, there's going to be save files down there so you can get stuck in, play different variations for yourself, look at things in more detail, especially your own player. Let me know whatever you try. If you try this version I'm using, or you try the one without any bans or transfers in place, let me know how that goes. Is it as hard as I think it could be? Because everyone's so equal. Do you win anything? If you take over the nation, how do you do there? Honestly, it's just a bit of fun, but it could be fun to play. Something different this time of year if you still love the game, but you're bored, you've run out of ideas. But yeah, thank you as always for watching. Make sure you do all the good stuff for me. I really do appreciate it. Comments, thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell. I will try my very best to bring episode 2 out the day after this comes out, so you'll have one night to get in the comments for this video. If there's anything I've missed that you'd like to look at in the next one, because I should have a bit more time to go into a bit more detail, put it in the comments as quick as possible, because I will be filming it tomorrow. I will be, so I can't wait, because I've no idea what's going to happen. Can't wait to find out if the Pirates can do any better. As always, thanks for watching. Stay happy, stay safe. Hopefully he'll come back for episode 2, and hopefully he'll up his bloody games. He's only got 6 caps. Only played 1 year though. I'm expecting more from my player, but I think you can tell I've not cheated, because the temptation was real to give myself 20 heading, 20 marking, 20 tackling, 20 anticipate. Do you know what I mean? But you can't do that. It's all fair and above board. But honestly, thanks for watching. I'm off, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.